It's November 4th, 2024, and this is the Watson Weekly, your essential e-commerce digest. Today on our show, retail CEO merry-go-round continues. PayPal earnings report shows its progress and challenges. UPS releases Q3 earnings. And everyone in retail copying everyone else. And finally, the Investor Minute, which contains 5 items this week from the world of venture capital, acquisitions, and IPOs. But first, in our shopping cart full of news, retail CEO merry-go-round continues. The RealReal went public in 2019, and since then, the company has had 4 CEOs. The founder, Julie Wainwright, Rati Sahi Levesque, and Robert Julian as co-CEOs as they work to find a successor, John Correll, and now Rati Sahi Levesque solo. The news of John Correll stepping down follows the CEO of Boot Barn moving to Ross Stores, the firing of John Donahoe at Nike, a new Starbucks CEO, and the head of grocery at Amazon leaving to wonder, leaving me wondering why that happened. But to recap the RealReal, turnover on the C-suite means a troubled company on a number of levels. Only time will tell. The company is growing top line and GMV. Profitability is moving at least in the right direction. What happened to John Correll, the former CEO? It's possible there is some kind of malfeasance. Remember when the last eBay CEO, who I won't name here, resigned from eBay over disagreements? Turns out he left to avoid his own disgrace instead. Whoops. It's also possible that this was a large disagreement with the board of directors of the RealReal, and he was terminated without cause as he received a 1-year salary or separation of about $600,000. Nice work if you can get it, I guess. This could indicate the board just wanted to get rid of him very quickly. What's next for the new CEO of the RealReal? Really? See what I did there? There are one of 2 directions that this could take. One is, this is a start of some kind of sales process. Try and improve the business as much as possible in the interim while you find a buyer. Another is some kind of long-term play given the continued importance of profitability. It's possible more layoffs could be coming to settle in for a longer transformation. My bet is on this second option because if you were going to sell the business, you would probably not have a long-time veteran come in as CEO. You would probably put the CFO or some outside turnaround expert in charge. All this to say, CEO turmoil is no bueno for the morale of any company. So the new CEO has her work cut out for her. Good news is, Levesque has been with the company so long, she definitely knows where all the bodies are buried. If it turns out Levesque has been doing all the hard work anyway under Correll, you could see the path to profitability accelerate if it leads to greater focus. Levesque has been there from the beginning of the company, so there could be some element of founder mode here. Does that mode help on a broken business model? Asking for a friend. Or another thing that could happen is that employee departures and layoffs could lead to a talent drain, which could just make things a lot worse. It's really all in the execution at this point. Our second story. PayPal earnings report shows progress and challenges. PayPal released their earnings this week, and I thought I would provide a few interesting notes from the conference call. I'll say at the start, I have been tough on PayPal, but it does appear to me that the new CEO is the best PayPal CEO I've seen in the last 5 years. And if that's not damning you with faint praise, I don't know what is. Sure, that's a low bar, folks. But hey, they're not working on stupid things or running in circles like they have in the past, and that's something. But the note from the call. First, PayPal sees a resilient consumer. There's that word again. That is an interesting data point on its own, right? This is based on early Q4 transaction volume data. Second, PayPal Fastlane is now rolled out to over 1,000 merchants. A majority of those they indicated are tied to big commerce. Beyond this point, as we say, Houston, we have a problem. PayPal Fastlane has a distribution problem, folks. Need I remind you, PayPal and Shopify are the biggest frenemies at this point. Shopify needs PayPal and PayPal needs Shopify. But both want to drink the other's milkshake, which puts a natural limit on their ability to partner. Not only that, Shop Pay has instant penetration for all its updates because it's a multi-tenant SaaS platform, whereas PayPal's merchants must upgrade on their own because you must implement PayPal. Bad news for Fastlane. Third, Braintree and Adyen are the biggest flashpoint by far in enterprise payments for Shopify. While Stripe is a popular payment platform, their enterprise penetration is quite limited given their roots and historical focus. Especially for the largest brands, payment processing volume is dominated by offline sales, as even the most optimistic estimates for 2024 indicate about 20% penetration of e-commerce in the United States. It doesn't mean Shopify isn't making some progress, but it is a knife fight in a phone booth. Mentioned on the call, PayPal plans to roll out an Adyen and Braintree version of PayPal Fastlane. Braintree obviously PayPal owns and controls. Adyen, not so much. But it is notable that a roadmap was mentioned on the call. And words I have never heard, maybe yet, on a Shopify earnings call? An Adyen or Braintree version of Shop Pay. The Braintree version of Shop Pay you could see over maybe PayPal's dead body, which I'm sure Shopify would be happy to arrange. Adyen, however, seems more possible. The simple question is, while Stripe and Adyen are clearly competitors, and Stripe is preferred by Shopify, would Shopify partner with Adyen for Shop Pay? It could be a matter of negotiation. Shopify clearly has a distribution advantage, and similar to Amazon Buy with Prime, could be prepared to wait out Adyen, even if it slowed Shopify's own enterprise penetration in the short term. Finally, in the battle for guest checkout, Shopify Shop Pay mentions 200 million plus shoppers. PayPal Fastlane mentions 170 million shoppers. Distribution is king, so you could give the edge potentially to Shopify here, given their head start. Bill Gates used to famously be paranoid about competition as you don't want to let a small competitor, what Shopify used to be, become a big one, or what Shopify is now. Whoops! Too late for that one. Our third story. UPS releases Q3 earnings. Here are 4 takeaways from the UPS earnings call that every e-commerce operator should know. First, 100 UPS customers represent 60% of the volume in their network and 85% of the peak surge. 85%! I hadn't heard these numbers before, but when you consider the fact that UPS delivers parcels for 1.6 million shippers each day, only 100 truly matter? If you ever wonder why logistics is a volume game, look no further. Volume and density are critical for profitability. Logistics companies targeting SMB cannot afford the infrastructure improvements to automate without impacting their customers' rates, which costs them more, or their own profitability, which means slimmer or no margins. Second point from the call, volume growth for UPS is up in the US since May, and a lot of it is from Temu and Shein. This is following 9 quarters of weaker demand, 6.5% volume growth in Q3, which a large portion from these 2 shippers. UPS has adjusted what it can, moving these SurePost parcels into their own main network where possible to control the profitability damage on these late-injected short-haul parcels. The influence of these 2 shippers has changed the dynamic from more air to ground and even more to SurePost, 60% of which hands off to USPS, which is their lowest margin business. UPS did make a curious comment that online sales slowed in the quarter. It doesn't mean decline year over year, however, does it? Third point for the call is that margins are up based on the actions the company is taking. Why is that? There are a couple of reasons. Wage inflation has come down from 12% year over year in the second quarter to 5.2% in Q3 year over year, based on annualizing the union agreement. The company is also shrinking its management teams as well as its network size and increased the productivity of its automated hubs by 5%. These automated hubs handle 63% of U.S. domestic network volume, so they are a point of high leverage. Additionally, UPS completed 45 operational closures, contributing to an 8% improvement in pieces per workforce hour. This alone represents an offset in 50% of the cost of the union wage increase. All things helping margin. The fourth point from the call is due to the compressed period, holiday could move more into physical stores. As everyone knows, this is the most compressed holiday shopping period since 2019 with only 17 shipping days. An interesting comment from the UPS CEO. Because of the tightness of the shipping season, that many customers will go into a store to complete their holiday purchase. I hadn't heard such a prediction before, but it will be interesting to watch. No doubt UPS received this information from its top shipping customers, which represent most of their volume. All in all, a cautiously optimistic holiday season with forecasts still all over the map. Peak periods are expected to be up, albeit nominally at 3%. But keep this in mind. If average order values are compressed due to pricing pressure, then a 3% increase in transaction volume will not offset a decline in pricing. That means from a GMV perspective, we could be looking at a flat to down season for many retailers from a top-line point of view. And our last story. Everyone in retail is copying absolutely everyone else. A recent article in Retail Dive highlighted the fact that Target just cut prices on over 2,000 items. Constant rollbacks all year. Sound familiar? In short, in the retail world, everyone is trying to be something they're not. Amazon is attempting to become Temu by lowering cost to serve and launching a low-cost store. Walmart, for its part, has been copying the Amazon playbook almost word for word in the last 3 to 4 years. Temu is attempting to become Amazon and get ahead of the looming Section 321 restrictions by adding North American logistics. Target, as I mentioned, they're moving to more of an everyday low pricing model like Walmart by recently cutting prices on 2,000 items and earlier this year launching a deal-worthy house brand. PayPal is trying to make up for lost ground against both Klarna in affiliates and ads and Shopify for Shop Pay guest checkout. Shopify, for its part, it's an interesting one. Toby mentioned on a recent podcast that he caught, quote, ZERP fever during the pandemic. I don't know, did like a green mosquito bite him? And it caused them to try to be a logistics company to compete with Amazon. Now they're trying to be the second coming of Demandware and PayPal before either Salesforce or PayPal learn to innovate faster. Salesforce, for its own part, is on a continuous acquisition spree in an attempt to become Oracle so that Benioff can outdo his former mentor, Larry Ellison. Of course, in many cases, these are good moves and are all perfectly logical in their own way. In terms of planning your next act, whether as a brand or a software company, the calculus is straightforward. And Amazon's Andy Jassy previously outlined the 4 questions they use at Amazon to frame innovation. 1. Is it a large and meaningful opportunity? 2. Is the problem compelling and underserved today? 3. Do we have a differentiated approach? And 4. Do we have a competence in this space or can we acquire it quickly? If you look through the lens of all the players above, they all feel the answers are yes, and so innovation makes a lot of sense. In some of these cases, I might question some of the differentiation or competence, but again, with time and energy, that can change. It really is all about the execution. Another thing Toby said on his recent podcast, a good idea is worth about a bottle of scotch. Everything else is what you do with it. Regardless, evolve or perish is going to be the phrase for 2025. If you don't keep your customers happy, someone else will. Happy Halloween, y'all. Hope y'all had a good one. Here's to a spooky holiday season. It's that time, friends, for our Investor Minute. We have 5 items on the menu today. First, private B2B marketplace Ghost raises $40 million in Series C funding. Private B2B marketplace for surplus and wholesale inventory Ghost has raised $40 million in Series C funding. Brands want to sell surplus and wholesale inventory to new geographies and channels without losing channel control. A private marketplace where brands reach buyers ensures that excess inventory can be sold without worrying about creating additional conflicts and revenue impact. Second, automated retail intelligence platform Symbay raises $50 million in Series C funding. Automated retail shelf intelligence and robotics company Simbe has raised $50 million in Series C funding to invest in its technology, partnerships, and new product area development. Retail shelves are one of the last data collection and analytics opportunities directly impacting retailers and brands' daily operations. First, it was wisdom of the crowds, and it increasingly looks like robotics will solve this challenge. Third, Nimble closes a $106 million Series C funding round. Nimble, a robotic third-party logistics platform, raised $105 million in Series C funding that will be invested in robotic manufacturing and its technology. FedEx entered into a commercial agreement to scale its FedEx fulfillment service using Nimble's technology as part of its investment. FedEx testing Nimble is a case of an incumbent looking to future-proof its operations with a new technology. Hopefully, it's not too late for them. Fourth, Stripe acquires crypto firm Bridge for $1.1 billion. Wow. Stripe, a payments infrastructure platform, has acquired stablecoin-based global finance platform Bridge for $1.1 billion. This deal provides liquidity for a variety of venture capital firms, but more importantly, provides an exit for the crypto sector, which is facing a lack of IPOs and acquisitions. Stripe also acquired a potential competitor that could disrupt its future. Is this Stripe becoming Block? And finally, eBay expands circular fashion fund to invest $1.2 million by end of 2025. eBay has announced that it's expanding its circular fashion fund to include the US and Germany after previously operating in the UK and Australia. The fund will invest $1.2 million by the end of 2025 and offer 200 hours of mentoring and networking support to startups and small businesses to build and grow circular solutions. eBay investing in the re-commerce or circular fashion sector enables the businesses to find new growth opportunities and partnerships before competitors who are disrupting it. And today's final word of the week of November 4th, 2024 is rocky. As in, this election season is going to be rocky, folks. Just keep your head down, try not to turn on the news if you can, and just put one foot in front of the freaking other. We will all get through this together somehow. Did you know that RMW Commerce has a brand new podcast? Check out the Watson Weekend for an unfiltered and lively e-commerce chat each week with me, Rick Watson, my co-host Jess Lasewski, and an array of interesting guests and topics, all focused on e-commerce. You can find the Watson Weekend by searching for it on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. That's all for this week. Till next time, Watsonians. Hi, I'm Rick Watson, CEO and founder of RMW Commerce Consulting and host of the Watson Weekly podcast, your essential e-commerce digest. Our production partner for the series is Citizen Race Car. The show is produced by Jose Baez. To hear new episodes of the show every Monday morning, subscribe now at rmwcommerce.com/Watson Weekly and wherever you get your podcasts.